Squeaky bum time.
I'm sure can't believe you called it that.
Why not? I thought it's such a common phrase, not a common phrase, but a popular phrase in the world of football. So I thought I would use it. And it's just a conversation. So Fabrice Muamba, Kevin Nolan, you guys are former teammates, just having a conversation about what it's like to be a professional footballer. So firstly, because you two played with each other, what was your first impression of saying, okay, Kevin first?
That's interesting. That's interesting.
What was your first impression of him? Tell me.
Well, it was quite funny actually. We were talking about it last night when we were having a little beer and reminiscing about the past and stuff like that. And Fab come and we spent a lot of money. It was $5.5 million, wasn't it? Fab, $5.5 million spent on. You know what you think about back that time and stuff. Obviously, a young lad, just come through Arsenal's ranks, been at Birmingham, done really well. Gary Megson had just signed them, and there was lots of talk of him being my replacement, if you like.
Your replacement,
yeah. So, obviously putting the pressure on the lad right away and stuff. Anyway, first training session, he couldn't trap a ball.
he wasn't sure about me.
Yeah,
I was like, well, I didn't know that till like yesterday. Yeah. So he was like, I looked at you, I was like, who's this guy? They made a mistake here.
As Fabrice Muamba's brother turned up, I was thinking.
Like Dele Alli's brother, like Mourinho was saying.
Yeah. No, but I think with going to play with him, I think after we had a preseason game against Rochdale Rochdale, and I think I did okay with that game, and I felt more confidence.
Yeah.
But I think when I joined that change room, you don't realize the personality was in that change room. So I'm coming in there and thinking, well, I may be able to now, but I was literally right at the bottom of it all.
Of course,
so
you just
have
joined,
to really earn your stripe playing with Kev and Bibi and UC and all these guys, because they've been there, done it. They demand respect, and it was quickly. Once after that first training session, I was like, okay, I'm here for it's a serious stuff here,
Yeah.
So and
I think we had a core of about 4 or 5 lads over the years, and there were strong lads in the dressing room, and so anyone coming in, we were quite always open, and warmth and everything else. So Fab obviously settled in well, but he's, as you know, he's a quiet lad anyway. Whenever you meet him or anyone knows, he's a quiet lad on and off the field, but he was one who you'd always take to the trenches with you. So I knew, and I just said to the lads, give him time, because obviously everyone was giving, here's your new replacement, a bit of banter and stuff. It was quite funny, but I obviously playing against him and seeing him and what he'd done at Birmingham and stuff, we knew that we had a good player in our rank, so it was quite funny talking about it last night, and him going, I didn't even know, but it was like literally every time the ball went near him, all the lads were like, Jesus Christ, who is this fella who's just turned up here?
I had to literally, I think also with because we went to Austria for pre-season, that was another wake-up call, because it was so intense and so demanding on everybody, and I was like, this is, because I've never really had that type of pre-season.
Yeah.
And going to Austria and have guys are literally demanding from you every single day, and I had to get my head around it quickly and then be able to adjust with my game. And so I was playing with Kev a lot, so I was able to say, I want to just do what I need to do and then support him and whatever I need to do.
Is he a scary, intimidating guy the moment you meet him? I mean, you're what, 6'2", 6'3"?
I think with Skip is more laid back, but it's different person in the pitch.
Yeah.
I think what you have in a game, everybody is so the same, and you're like, well, I want somebody to be more, just get somebody and say, listen, come here and do what I'm asking to do. Whereas when we played, he wasn't afraid to speak his mind, regardless if you did well, if you made a mistake, or if you did well, he'll give you credit. If you don't, then
there's hell to pay.
Not hell to pay, but it's just that it will just say his opinion.
He'll call you out.
He'll call you out, and then he will back you up if you need to back you. And that's very, very important, especially in the game now.
The captain material. I mean, obviously that's why you were captain of various clubs.
I think, I mean, I'm glad that he always felt that way, and I think he was. I hope he felt comfortable when he joined the dressing room. I think he did when speaking with him now, and even when he was during the day. As he said, on the pitch, I was never afraid to say anything to anybody or tell people what I thought of them, whether it be right or wrong. you know, and but because as soon as we walked off, we were friends again, and we'd have a laugh and joke, and that's what I said. You know, even now we're still laughing and joking about and reminiscing about times, and I wanted everybody to be able. We wanted to fight together. We wanted to be there together. We're a team. We're together, and you know, and if you can't tell your teammates, you know, that what you think of them, whether they're doing really well or whether they're not playing so well, I think that's a big no-no, and I think we don't have as much of that now in the game.
And having a word saying, you know, we just demand respect, you know, and because like as Kev said, there's a core of individuals who've been in the club for so long and play in Europe, so you want to keep the club at a standard. So you know, if we have one of the young lad or one of the new player coming in and not trying hard enough, you're like, listen, mate, we don't do this way. We work hard, and that's how we earn our living. You know, as much as, you know, we are a Premier League club, yeah, but we have a certain way of doing things, which means we have to work hard. You have to buy into it. You know.
What I enjoy, I think, particularly for you, Kev, is you're very serious on the pitch. You're very intimidating. I think you can agree, right? But you also had this fun side. In fact, you're just generally a fun guy off the pitch. Obviously, I never stepped onto the field with you, but thinking back of we were talking off camera about your celebrations, like doing the flapping of the arms, etc. Can you be too serious? I look at Roy Keane, for example, and I'm thinking, does this man know how to laugh? You know what I mean?
I think with Skip, he has a balance, and I think you need to have that balance. You know, where when I'm in that 90 minutes, I'm going for war. And when I'm out of it, I'm just a normal person like everybody else. And you have to try to have that lifestyle. Whereas if you live your life like the same way, the way you play football, it's impossible. Tamir never really played, but he was able to go and speak to Tamir just to make sure that Tamir is okay.
It's comfortable.
And all those kind of stuff, you know, when you sit down, you think about it, now you start playing, thinking, that's good, that's very good, you know, good way of looking out for other players.
Who's the most serious player that you ever played with?
Serious in terms of?
Who's just not so much of a joker, but just so fully focused.
Sure. To be fair, when you play at that elite level, everybody's got a focus about them. It's just like, you know, you have your jokers in the park. You have the lads who'll just come in, he'll say hello and chat, and then you'll have the one who literally comes in the last and goes the first, you know, because they don't care about football. Well, you know, you hear it a lot more. You know, you hear a lot of football. It's and more now than ever that I didn't really want to play football, but I was good at it, and I got it, and so I continued with it, and it does well. But my real love is something else. It's art or whatever it is, or music or something. So it's strange. Whereas when I was growing up, you know, I'd be mates with lads in you know, on a Monday to Saturday, and then when we played them on the Sunday, I wouldn't chat to them when I was on the pitch, or I was like real, you know, proper intense. I don't really know if you've got any serious players. You know, you talk about a serious character. When you mentioned them before, is Roy Keane. He was serious on the pitch as what he was off the pitch, and I think that was because of his will to succeed, and I think he built that persona up of himself, didn't he? And then I don't think he could sort of come away from it. But if you speak to anybody who knows him, like in sort of Manchester United and on a social capacity, he's a right laugh to be out with.
Is he?
Yeah, and he has a good laugh and joke, and he used to like a drink when he was younger. He used to love a drink, and you know, and that's what Ferguson sort of took out of him. And then, you know, his sole focus was he wanted to be the best, and that was it. But I think anybody who says you speak to him sociably said he's a real good company and real right crack.
Interesting. Didn't know that. I mean, you're obviously from Liverpool. We can tell from your accent, but I just think players, particularly from the north. No offense. No. But you're real salt.
He's a northerner now. That's why I can tell him. I couldn't tell him when he was 21.
It's okay. Times have changed. But it's real salt of the earth and really industrious, not afraid to get stuck in, and hard work. You look at all the great Liverpool players, the Everton players, and then you cross the divide to Newcastle, etc.
I mean, they call it the working class sort of side of the country, don't they? And I think that's sort of where you've got to be humble to sort of be brought up, you know. Some of them, as some people say, we get dragged up, you know. But you know, I had a fantastic, you know, upbringing, and I enjoyed it, and I'm well. I know that my mum and dad are proud of what I've achieved, but they're not proud of what I've achieved. They're proud of the man I've become and what I've done off the field, and the way I sort of I am with people and everything else. I think that's what makes certainly me mum more proud, is the way, you know, I've got a lot of people who always speak to her and say what a lovely fine man he's been, you know, brought up and he's come out to be. So they're the times sometimes for me when I always feel like a bit more proud when my mum says that, or when she hears that. That's sometimes better than like a fella going up to my dad and going, oh, your dad played, or your lad's playing really well, or he's done really well, or what a player. It's always nice sometimes to hear that, you know, people, you know, they know I've got respect for them, and I've been brought up properly, even though we were brought up in humble backgrounds, you know. So,
of course.
But you know, not like Fabi who had a teaspoon in his mouth.
Yeah, down in London, enjoying life.
I should say not teaspoon.
But I think there's a stigma that's attached to club down south, is that when they come up north, they don't want to, and you literally see it straight away. I can remember when I was Arsenal, and I remember Arsenal playing Bolton FA Cup, and I was on the bench. From the moment you come out of the tunnel, that breeze just hit you, thinking, I'm not interested in being here, you know. And Bolton ended up winning 1-0 as a FA Cup game, but it was just the environment. But that's what football's supposed to be like. And I think up down south, because it's a lot warmer climate, isn't it?
So when they used to come up north with like these, we was like, these southern softies don't want to come up here, you know what I mean?
And you really target them from the minute zero. Like the first kickoff, you look at who fancies it, who doesn't fancy it, especially the team that play in Europe on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and the first game is 12 o'clock on a Saturday. It's like, let's just go after them. And from there, you get.
So what did you have to worry about as a footballer in terms of day-to-day stuff?
Yeah, of course, and you just made sure your boots always went with, kitman sorted your boots out. They just asked what boots you want. All that was done. You just had to take whatever you needed, your spare pair of undies for when you've had a shower and that. And your tracksuit, just have to look at your kit, what you see, what we have on. And then probably you have your laptop, your iPads or whatever it is, your phone, all that type of stuff.
Big headphones?
Well, I never had big headphones. You can imagine me with big headphones. No. Of course.
Wouldn't work for you.
It wouldn't work for me, no.
What was it like when you retired and then suddenly life?
Retirement?
I know obviously your circumstances are very different.
The way I look at it, it's the biggest shock. It's the biggest shock that they don't teach kids in football. And the little thing that you ignore, the little thing that just going to help somebody to just have a routine. Yeah, that's a big thing. It's a big thing. Even just little routine makes a massive difference, and you can see why certain players can fall into the pattern of gambling, and all that kind of stuff, because when you play, we have a certain routine. Obviously nowadays team train different time. Yep. But now, before when you played it. Up at 7 or 8 o'clock, 9:30 you're at the training ground, and then you obviously do training. When you stop playing, it's completely different. Yeah.
Back in bed at 9:30.
Back in bed at 9:30.
After you've dropped the kids off.
After the kids gone to school, you go back in bed. So what am I supposed to do here now? So it's having a routine, which is, I think it's a massive for probably for my players.
Anything to add to that? I mean, what was the biggest shock once you retired?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I've had the shock. I think it's been a bit. I think the shock come for me when I left West Ham, and I shouldn't have really left West Ham unless I knew that, because I had a contract to go to another club for another 3 years. Okay. And then that just went off the table, like suddenly overnight, because the manager had a bit of a dispute with the chairman and ended up leaving the club then. And the more and more you sort of press to try and put yourself in a club or wherever, people are like, oh no, I don't, because they've seen that I'm coming to the end, and I sort of become a bit of a scared player, because a scared player for them, but in terms of they knew I wanted to go and do my badges, they knew I was going, so it's like, well, actually no, I don't want you at my club, because you could be the next manager of this club.
You could undermine them, the manager, the gaffer.
Yeah, because I've been a captain. Yeah. It sort of then went the opposite way for me, because they were like, well, no, we've got our captain, we don't really need that captain to come in, and you're coming to the end of the career, so if I got you'll put pressure on me because the way you are. So all the things what Fab was saying was really good about me being in a captain and what I've grown up to be. Managers didn't want you in there, because then owners see you in there and think, actually he could be our new manager. Yeah. And I think that's what scared a lot of people from taking me in championship clubs and in the lower league of the Premier League, so lower end of the Premier League. And I truly believe that went against me, because Mick McCarthy spoke to my agent and he went, "You're joking, aren't you?" He said, "I have 4 or 5 bad games. You'll be managing this club. Never mind playing for it."
He's a very honest guy.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
Yeah,
so he was the only one who really said it. But it was unbelievable once I heard that. I thought, because I was thinking, why can't I get a club?
Yep.
You know, because it's not as if I'm asking for ridiculous money or whatever. I weren't asking. It was like, well, even to go in and train and show what I can do. That's where it ended up. I ended up at Leyton Orient, because I went in and I was training there to keep myself fit, and then the manager got sacked there, Ian Hendon, who was worked with me at West Ham and a friend of mine. And then the Italian owners obviously thought, well, actually, we could have Kevin Nolan as our manager, and plus he can play for us.
So you're player manager?
So I'll be player manager.
That must be difficult.
So in the end, it was right what people were saying, but I don't think it would have happened like that. You know what I mean? It was like 6 or 1 half.
And I think that's one thing with football. There's the tendency of penning people in some different type of brushes, in a way that because you're reaching a certain level of your career, they almost put you into a certain box there. This is you. I don't think you will be able to do anything else. So I
almost had to say, you get sacked, then I can't take over the club.
You should put that in your contract.
Yeah,
as a clause.
That's what I was saying to Mark. Tell them that, like, if they're worried about that. And it was just like, and then it goes from 3 months to 4, 5, 6, and then the next minute I was manager of Orient, and then it's like, okay, this is the next step now. So now I haven't really thought about retirement.
Yeah.
You know, I've just thought, well, the next step is management and looking forward, and then obviously since county, which was a year ago, I've had a couple of offers to go back in as manager, but it's not been right for me or for my family. So obviously now going down this route a bit, and I'm wanting to do a bit more of this and sort of dip my toe in this and sort of get me, not dip my toe in, but sort of get me gripping into this really. And I'm enjoying doing this side of it, but I enjoy watching the games, but it doesn't give you that sort of feeling after you've won, being a player or a manager, when you see your team win, you know. So it's nice when I see Liverpool win on a Saturday, now watching it with me boy and how excited he gets, or Forest when we go to the game. But there's no feeling like that Saturday after you've just worked all week to win a game. And I think that's why I want to be involved in it more. And
I also think that's one of the big things that player miss, that Saturday feeling of you put all the effort during the week, and you just you win a game, but you win it on the last kick of the game, the 90th minute. I was just like,
and it's even the disappointments you miss it as well, you know, because I'm not even talking about just winning games, like going home on a Saturday and being miserable, you know, because it hasn't worked and you've had a bad game, or we worked all week and it hasn't gone right through, and you're like, and you've got a chance to go and start again.
What do you both like when you lose a game?
Not a good. I left Fab answer it for me.
What's Kev like? What do you like when you lose a game?
I'm just Fabrice, player. I don't talk my.
Okay.
But
he's disappointed. You can see he's disappointed.
I'm disappointed but I'll observe a lot of things. So I'm like, okay. But he's nah.
Was he smashing up tables? Yeah. Sore loser. I guess to get to that level, you have to be hyper competitive. There's
not
millions
of
people.
It's never a sore loser, because when you lose, you lose. Or when you lose, it's when we do things which, I mean, for instance, the reason why I left to go to Newcastle was because of an evening after we played, didn't we, Blackburn, remember, and we won 1-0 up. Yeah. And we were talking about it last night, because Fab didn't know. No one knew I'd gone.
No one knew?
No, it was crazy. It was a crazy 24. So we played Blackburn on the Tuesday night, and I think the deadline was on the Wednesday night, something like that. And I had to be done. Or was it? No, Tuesday. Maybe the Friday it might have been. The
just
deadline.
48 hours, 72.
So within 48 hours of me playing in Blackburn, I was gone. I was in Newcastle.
Did we win that game?
No, we conceded in the last minute, didn't we? 1-0. And I come in and absolutely just went mental, didn't I? And literally just, I was like, it's an absolute, like, named a few, give a few people a bit of it, not you know, constructive and everything right, and the lads were like coming back at me, and it was like, and then apparently the assistant manager at the time, who was Chris Evans, to Gary Megson, Gary Megson was the manager. But when Gary first come in, he didn't have an assistant, so he used me a lot.
Oh, you were the go-to?
I was the go-to, so he'd get me in and go, I'm thinking about doing this, what do you think? And I'm like, yeah, crack on. And or I was like, oh, how's it going? You know, and he sort of used me as that. But when he brought Chris Evans in, he started pushing me away a bit, which I was fine with because I'm the captain.
That's always been Chris. Like, he's always been like the type of individual. Like, he comes in and then it becomes his territory. No disrespect to the guy, but it's just like, if everything's going really well, once he's involved, slowly you start to see a change. Then you just break down. You're like, well, we were doing well, but why you know? But anyway.
Yeah, so Chris sort of got involved a bit more, and then he rang me agent and said, Kevin's too strong for our dressing room now. We need to get rid of him.
Wow. Just like that?
Just like that, yeah. And my agent went, what? And he was like, yeah, he's too powerful. And I think the manager wants to get rid of him. And he was like, all right, okay. And that same night, or I think it might have been the next night, Joey Barton broke his foot for Newcastle.
And then that's where the call came in for you.
So, yeah, Dennis Wise my agent rang Dennis Wise and said, I've just seen Joey Barton has broke his foot. Would you like Kevin Nolan, if I can get him for you? And he went, give me 2 minutes, come back. And then he went, yeah, we'll take him. And then that was it, was done. So my agent come to me. I didn't know. I was eating dinner at Bolton training ground, having me lunch. And he come in and I was like, what are you doing here? And he was like, the club just accepted an offer for you to go to Newcastle. So I went, right. And he went, so what do you want to do? I went, well, I'm going then, aren't I? And he went, you sure? He went, you don't have to, because I was sitting on a 3-year contract at the time. He said, you don't have to. I said, look, if they were accepting offers, then it's time to go.
Yeah, right.
It's time to go. I said, I'm not. I said, I'll go and prove them wrong up there.
And you did, I think.
Yeah, and so I literally finished my lunch, said goodbye to the chefs and all that. No one else was in the training ground. I was the last one in there because I was doing a bit of
recovery work,
stuff. Yeah. After the game, I'd had a massage and then just done a bit of steam and hot and cold and stuff like that. So there was no other players there, and then I just said bye to all the staff because I knew I was going. Went home, packed my bag. My wife was getting ready to go to a concert with all her friends in our house. I walked in and said, I'm off to Newcastle. And she was like, okay. And then I jumped in my car, picked up my dad and brother because they come up with me, and we drove up to Newcastle. And then halfway up, my wife rang me and went, what do you mean you're going to Newcastle? I went, I'm signing for Newcastle in about a couple of hours. I'm just on my way up there. And then that was it. I didn't go home. So from that day, I was a Newcastle player. And then I didn't go back to Liverpool for 3 months. So I was in Newcastle in a hotel room for 3 months on my own, with my wife and that coming up every now and then.
Yeah.
Trying to look for a house and stuff like that. And it was just a whirlwind. And then like we're getting texts off all these like 48 hours later. Where have you gone, Skip?
That's amazing.
I told him, I said, you left, but you he never said anything. And obviously, I only find out at home. Turn Sky Sport, Kevin Nolan's gone.
You see, I always read about this sort of thing.
We were training on the morning. It wasn't like an issue. Obviously, like when somebody is gonna leave, there's a sign there where it's not involved and he's not gonna be involved in training, just to make sure that there was no sign at all.
But he was sounding off after the Blackburn game, and it's
gone.
Wow. Because you often read about it.
Because we were all in for, like, everybody was in that day.
In that day.
So we were all in that day. So even the lads, I was in that day, and I had no inkling of whatsoever.
That's amazing.
It was just like it was all going on in the background with my agents. And my agents walked in, obviously, while I'm eating lunch on my own, because he rang me to say, where are you? And he'd been in with Bolton that day, and with Chris and Gary Megson and Phil Gartide, and they'd agreed. Phil Gartide didn't want to sell me, but Gary and Chris said, well, I think it was more Chris pushing Gary
to do it. Good. Oh, unbelievable.
And then it happened, and it was done. And then we got relegated for Newcastle, and then I got a phone call about 2 days later from the agent saying, do you want to go back to Bolton? Because about 2 months after, Gary Megson rang me and said, I've made a mistake.
I need you back.
Yeah, I want you back.
Where was Chris Evans at this point?
He was still there.
He was still there.
So when he rang me and said, do you want, because they were still in the Premier League then, and we got relegated, and he said, would you want to come back? Would you come back? and I went, no. I said no. I said, you've had your chance, so deal with it. And I wanted to prove that it weren't a mistake going to Newcastle. That was my biggest thing, was that I wanted to prove to everybody that I didn't make the mistake. It was them who made the mistake.
Wow. I just find this unbelievable, because often when you see a manager get sacked or a player leaves, the headlines will be, oh, the players had no idea. The players were informed via WhatsApp minutes before it happened. I never believed it, but apparently it's true.
No, most of the stuff is done probably 48 hours before. And then obviously the media just get the final cream of it.
Yeah.
But the nitty-gritty of it, it's done and dusted.
How many times now do you see sources? And it is, but in that instance, honestly, I didn't know until I was still eating me lunch, you know, watching Sky Sports, and then by the time I got home, it was on Sky Sports, because one of my friends had popped round, and I hadn't even told him yet, and Sky Sports was on, and it just popped up, Kevin Nolan, sources, Kevin Nolan, about to sign for Newcastle, and he looked at me and went, are you? And I was like, yeah, I'm just on my way up there now.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it was... But you never have no time. Once it happens, it's done, isn't it, Fab?
No, once it's done, it's done. Because people upstairs have made their mind up. You only have to say, okay. Once you're okay, you obviously speak to the missus or your girlfriend and say, this is what's going to happen. You just have to hold the phone for time being. I'm going to go and so I need to sort, and that's it. And you literally become a player from another team. The next day you'll be wearing it to someone else's training ground.
Yeah.
And play football.
Just like that.
Yeah.
You said sources, etc. Are there moles in football, in dressing rooms that leak stories out?
The thing is, what happens is that every club, so whenever something happens with the club, it's not a mole, it'll probably be the press officer. He'll just ring up and just go, this is happening, just to let you know, just to keep in with Sky Sports, because it's such a money making thing for clubs now. They can't you've got to keep Sky Sports on side, you've got to keep BT on side, you've got to keep all these major television broadcasters on side. So if you give it to someone else and they found out it was you, so if, say, Jim White, he always says, oh yeah, I've got my sources in blah blah who was saying this is happening. Now he knows everybody in every club. He'll have one in every club. Yeah, you know what I mean? Or
and he's getting the calls.
So someone, so not just Jim White. It'll be all them presenters, and it'll be like, right, we've got who can we call about this? Because it's heard. Because half the time now, you can't get away with it because social media is such a thing. These type of things now, it's just so big that you can't get away with it. You can't get away with trying to like now. What will happen with me, I don't think could happen again because of social media. Because I probably would have tweeted just on my way to Newcastle, wink or something. You know what I mean?
And then it's like,
and everything's like, why is it there?
Will read it completely different and just wear it his own way and then run with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Or you'll just like a post by someone else saying, heard Kevin Nolan's on the way to Newcastle, liked by Kevin Nolan, and it goes viral.
Exactly.
The lighter side of football, I mean, I've always wondered what happens on a team bus on the way to an away game, particularly the long one.
The furthest one we've done, it was probably Newcastle away. That's the
yeah.
Middlesbrough.
Borough. Newcastle's further. Probably.
Middlesbrough away.
It's very professional now. Yeah. When I first started.
Okay.
The difference from when I first started to when I finished is unbelievable. When I first started, I used to have to, because I was a young boy, 17, travelling with the team all over. So we used to go to, it was Norwich, was the worst one we used to go to, and I remember doing that. And they used to have, it used to be, you know, you go to Asda and you get the packaged food and all that type of stuff. So everyone would get on, and I'd have to sort of put up what you want, what you like, and do it all.
You're the waiter?
Yeah, so I was a waiter basically, and get them the drinks and stuff like that while they all sat there. And then you'd have all your old school who played the cards, so they'd be gambling and playing cards and having a drink.
So everyone's kind of doing their own thing?
Yeah. And
basically,
and I think as
you get set up, Champ Manager was the big thing, where lads have, and then now they've got PlayStations. You can get these walk on PlayStations,
screens,
So they have. Buses are now come fitted with PlayStations now, so you can have and they have just everything's all in with the coach. So the change in everything from when it first started to just like the deck of cards, and now lads will just set up, like there's young lads just set up. They've got the laptop, they've got the phone, they've got an iPad, and they've got everything's all just around them, and it's all there, and they just.
But then also what happens is that kind of ruin the communication amongst the teammates because you're so into, oh, I want to sit down and play my game. You ignore that, you know, I need to know my teammate more. And I think that's the side of the game where you try to, I think the manager at Southampton, when he first signed, he banned all that kind of stuff.
Everything's gone.
You have to talk, and it's a big thing because most of the millennium, they don't talk. And you can see in the game, it's like people don't want to talk for whatever reason. So, yes, it's great. The game is changed, it's involved, but also it's a downside of it that it's causing a lot of effect in terms of millennium not being able to.
One of the best stories I've got on a coach going to a game is when we got into Europe, there was 6 of us who bought a horse. Me, Sam Allardyce, Phil Brown, who's the assistant at the time, Kevin Davis.
Phil Brown.
Kevin Davis. Who else was it? Joey O'Brien. And one other. Who's the other? Juicy Escalante.
Oh wow, the keeper, yeah.
Shock.
Yeah.
And
Shock.
we bought this horse. We called it European Dream because obviously the European Dream basically. And we stopped the bus to watch it on Sky Sports on the side of the motorway.
Wow. Okay.
To watch it run at the races, and we'd all had big money on it at that time. I never gambled. But we all had big money on it, and like all the lads on the bus. So you can imagine that bus on the side of the motorway, and you can see them, and you can just hear the roar, and the bus was just and it won. It was brilliant. It was one of the best that everyone was like, yeah, go on. You'd like, as you say, and it was just literally, the bus was just like jumping
up and down.
The side, yeah.
When we're going to Dublin.
Dublin?
Yeah, for Christmas we played on a Saturday, and it was almost just get to the change room, get into the coach, and straight to Manchester Airport, and that was it. Like it's almost like everything happened in 24 hours in another country. And you're just having fun. You're like, wow, this is amazing. But we were professional footballer, you know, and we were going from bars to bars to bars, and then first thing in the morning, instead of having a cup of coffee, we give you Guinness.
Guinness in the morning.
Yeah, that was the rule.
Guinness with your breakfast. Everyone had to be down before 11 o'clock. It was great then, because I mean, that's where, you know, it's all gone wrong a bit, I think, now, because lads can't go out and enjoy themselves. No. It's so tough. Because of the phone. And it's like, oh, why can't they? You know, everyone deserves to at some point to go out, and you know, it's who doesn't go out for a Christmas do?
And I also think most of the lads they've got better personality than they show in the pitch.
Of course,
and I think because
you learn a lot about them, don't you? Fab?
You
know what I mean?
You actually appreciate them more for coming out and thinking, you know what? Yeah, I definitely want to invite you again to, you know.
Well, on the continent, they're keeping their mouths closed like this, you know. They're like, keeping it.
But and the thing is, I understand all that. But when you go out, you might see something in someone which you didn't think you'd had. So it makes you laugh, and then it gives you something to sort of talk about the next day. I don't get it when people say, "Oh, well, you're professional footballers; they shouldn't be drinking." Listen, if you've not got to drink a game for another week, why not go out and enjoy a weekend? Yeah, we used to go Saturday, Sunday, come back on the Monday to Dublin. So we'd fly out on the Saturday night and come back on the Monday afternoon. And it was enough.
And
it was enough for that.
Back in training on Tuesday.
Back in the training on Tuesday. And it was enough. But on that Tuesday was one of the best. All the lads couldn't wait to come back in. Because on the Monday when they got home, you're thinking about, and
everything
you remember
happened.
what's gone on for the weekend.
It's all clicking.
Yeah, so then all that week was just like, oh, what about him? And then, you know, and then obviously maybe nicknames come from there, or you know, just like something what, you know, you've got like little private jokes which dressing rooms only have and stuff like that. But there's so much good to come from it, and I just feel sorry for the joy now, because once they go out, they get slammed for being out, or if they're a bit drunk or whatever. You've got to be able to at some times switch off and be able to just relax and enjoy being successful, but do it in the right manner. Not everyone. You can't tell me you've not been at a Christmas party in all your life, and you've got the one in the corner who's asleep because they've drank too much, because they're so excited, because they haven't been out for so long, or they've drunk too much too quick and they've took the knock. It's what happens, you know. And I just Fab when he first come on that Dublin trip, we seen a different Fab.
I was like,
you know,
it's different, you know. Because obviously at Arsenal we never done anything like this, never ever. So to actually do it and you're like, wow, this is what football was about. You know, you get to enjoy it, and went from one bar to another bar. And on Sunday when we went to little alleyway bars, where you sat there, we literally sat on a bar from 11 to probably 10 in the night, and we just ordering drinks and
food and stuff,
whatever,
and everyone just singing Christmas songs, all the songs coming along, but just having real good banter. Everyone's in fancy dress, because you have to dress up.
And when I go to Ireland, I always I always had to go through that bar just to make sure that I
it's still there.
It's still there.
Always remember. Always hold those memories.
Definitely.
I love the concept of nicknames. I mean, you told me off camera your nickname is
Nobby. Yeah.
Where's that from?
We were in Denmark pre-season. Gaffer was just started calling me Nobby Nolan.
Nobby Nolan.
Yeah. I can't tell you why.
Yeah. Well,
there's ladies present.
I can leave it to my imagination.
Well, it's funny because when I see people now, Sammy Lee, just before I come out here, Sammy Lee rang me. Did you work on the Sam?
No.
Didn't you?
I
just,
came.
Just after, wasn't it?
He left.
Yeah.
I was like, so disappointed, so upset, because obviously
he's got a great reputation, hasn't he?
Unbelievable reputation with Samir and Sam.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking,
Big Sam, Little Sam.
Yeah. And I'm coming to Bolton, and then he's gone. Like, oh, this is great. You know.
So he rang me and he called me Nobby for the first time. All right, Nob, how are you, lad? And I was like, it was weird, you know. It's mad at the way it went through me. Even at Newcastle, I was known as Nobby as well.
It's better than Scouse, which you said you called at 17. That's just boring, right?
Yeah, but that's all the lads just calling me. Well, I used to get. Well, no, I won't say abused, because people could take it the wrong way, but I used to get a lot of abuse for being a Scouser, young. Yeah. But I was a cheeky little Scouser, you know what I mean, and give as good as I got back. But they were all great, and it built my character, really. You know, having all them older pros, the likes of Dean Aldrich, Paul Warris, Colin Hendries, or Mike Whitlow, Goodney Bergs, and Per France, and you know, Michael Johansson, all them, because they had great characters. Klaus Jensen, Mark Fish, Andy Todd, all them good characters,
good names,
and good lads. But I mean, I played with some great ones. I'm trying to think of like the best nicknames, because normally it's just because of your second name, or whereas mine just come because the gaffer just said I'd done something. He said that was like Nobby Styles there, Nobby Nolan or something like that, and then that's where it went from. Yeah.
Better than Noddy,
than Noddy Styles, yeah.
What about any names stick out in your mind? Nicknames which are
I think Droofy is always the one.
Droofy.
Oh yeah, he said Droofy. Oh, all of a sudden the image of LID Droofy. Because it's Droofy, LID Droofy, and then what Droofy bring to the table. As much as people say he's crazy, but it's good to have him to change.
He's a good lad.
He has his good day and his bad day. But when he's not there, you notice big time he's not there. When he's there, you're thinking.
Well, you can see because his tracksuit was colourful as these walls. And he'd come in and it'd be raining and he'd have big glasses on and he'd be walking and he'd go, and the first thing he'd look at you and go, "You just want to be me, don't you?" But it's that character, and he was doing it for all the wind up.
He's probably one of the footballer probably the first footballer. He was so out there that if he was playing now, he would have been crucified because of how loud and he was, you know.
Not a popular opinion for those from Liverpool, though.
Given his, he's not very well liked with the Liverpool people. But again, he does that for attention, I think.
Oh yeah.
You know, he does it for attention, and he does it to sort of just get everyone riled up, and he knows that it'll make the media. If he talks about Liverpool and talks about and talks about Steven Gerrard and Jamie Carragher, and he does it, and he knows that he's on the wind up.
Jeff is one of those players where if you're playing away from home and you're winning 1-0, 10 minutes to go, just give the ball to him, because he will just cause something. Not even anything. You just know how to waste time. He's probably the best I've seen wasting time. But like,
just give the ball to him and he'll go and get you a free kick in the corner, and then all the fans will be up, and then he'll be giving the kisses to them. And then all the fans are giving him one, and then he'll just start laughing at them. And Mark Noble's up there with him, but he's more of a banter and wind up type. But Juffy, he'd wind up crowds. quite easily because especially because of some of the incidents he'd had in. Yeah. He would do. Yeah.
Him, Adebayor. Let's not forget about Adebayor.
Yeah,
what he did. He
no,
ran the pitch.
No, I think with Adebayor.
But that's one
That's
thing.
one thing.
Yeah,
or
but
one
the
time
obvious-
only.
Well,
Yeah.
with
Whereas
Jeffrey, it's
Jeffrey, it could be
every
any. It could be. He'd be winding up in training, and then he'd be winding up every away fan.
Yeah.
You know, and he's capable of. He doesn't even care what anybody says or think of him. He just makes sure he does what he needs to do. As you said, he do it for attention, yeah, but in a crucial moment, he does it for the good of the team.
All right.
You know.
Speaking of stadiums and away fans, etc., what about when you went to a game? Which stadium did you always despise going to? Not so much because of the fans, perhaps, but just the facilities. Like they would turn
Burnley.
Burnley.
Portsmouth.
Yeah. Burnley.
Portsmouth. Wow, that's opposite ends of the
No,
country.
No, Portsmouth is something else.
Why? Why?
What-
It's
so-
different now. It's opened up, hasn't it?
It
They've
opened
opened
up?
it all up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it used to have like a column basically in the middle of the
In the
dressing
middle?
room. So like,
Awful.
it was.
A column, so you couldn't see.
So yeah, so like it was. You walked in and it was like this,
It's so
the
small.
way it was, and then there was a big column here.
Right, it was just
So
smack bang in the
just
centre.
yeah, bang in the centre. Yeah, which they done obviously to annoy teams and just sort of knock your eye, your stride.
Which is the best?
Oh,
Uh,
I like the Emirates when he
Yeah,
first
Emirates
when
when
they
it-
first
The Emirates?
opened. It was
Yeah.
nice.
I'll tell you what, the Emirates Media Centre
It's nice
is
as well.
astounding as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
The food is they got pancakes and waffles and everything if you get there for breakfast. It
I,
makes a huge
Yeah.
difference, you know.
Yeah.
You go there, you're happy.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, good food.
I like Spurs.
Spurs is really nice. I've
Very
only done
nice.
one game at the new stadium. You're talking
Yeah.
about the new stadium or the White
new
Hart Lane?
stadium.
Okay.
Very
I
nice.
haven't been to the new stadium.
Stunning.
but
It's
Yeah. I
it's
think it's all the normal really. They just made it comfortable for you. Manchester
Yeah.
United was Liverpool's comfortable. Man United's comfortable.
But I think United
I
they,
think-
they did their one on purpose because they
Yeah.
run right at the back.
Yeah.
You're changing right here. It's almost like when they walk in, they try to belittle you
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
look at you like, who you? Like who are you? What are you doing in here?
Yeah.
You know, it's a very calculated move about them in terms of the position of the changer because like I say, he walks in, the big man walks in, and then everybody else follow him.
Yeah.
And it's almost like when they're walking, we have to wait. So because the corridor is not as
So,
big,
yeah.
as
Yep, yep.
so we have to wait. Then after they come out, we come in. You're like, that's very, you know.
Little
a-
mind games.
I said
Mind games.
every inch is a count.
Yeah.
All a little percentage.
Did any other teams like play with the heating? Like in winter, they would just turn the heating off, or if it was a bit warm, they'll just turn it up. That sort of thing. Those little tricks.
I think most of the club are kind of straightforward in terms of
Yeah.
looking after the team. They don't do that kind of mind game in terms of
they
heating.
respect you more
But
now.
respect you, but in terms of like the change room, how the change room set up, I think it's I think as Skip said, it's a bit calculated, you know, because most of the club have enough wealth to be able to
Yep.
expand the change room, but some people just decided to just keep it how it is, and they'll make sure the home change room it's so nice. Always the away change room is like,
It's like a shitter.
Yeah.
That's it. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. Speaking of that, I mean, I love the Newcastle-Sunderland rivalry. There's obviously the Merseyside rivalry
Yeah.
and stuff. But the other aspect of football I really like is when people come together for certain things.
Yeah.
In Liverpool, obviously, justice for the 96.
Yeah.
Liverpool and Everton fans, they will always get together for
They've
that.
got a
you know?
bond because obviously a lot of the Everton fans have got family who were in that 96,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
I think that's why it's a unique derby, the Liverpool-Everton one, in terms of very rare do you go to a derby and see an Everton fan we're sitting next to a Liverpool fan, and that's seen always now in terms of there'll be a family and there'll be one of the boys supports Everton, one supports Liverpool, the dad supports Everton and the mum supports Liverpool.
Yeah,
and,
divided.
And yeah, it's just but you know, and they have that. It's a good banter, you know what I mean, and thankfully it doesn't go too far.
Yeah,
Because it's football at the end of the day, and we don't want it, you know, escalating into violence and stuff like that. And I think that's what's good about the Merseyside derby is that although there's a real passion and there's a real hatred for each other, they've still got a lot of respect for each other, and you know, on days like that, especially when that happened and stuff like that. One of my friends was there on the day, him and his brother, and luckily enough they got out, and like he, you know, the way he explained and how he's scarred by it, you know, is such a. But there was a lot of people who were new there. My dad knew people, but yeah, you know, but them days when, or them games when that, you know, the sort of anniversary for the Hillsborough comes around, Liverpool comes as one, really.
Yeah.
Everton and Liverpool could become one. And it's great to know. Can't believe he's getting
screenshotting it. Sorry to interrupt you.
Look, I'm not being funny. How professional are you? Good job we're not live on air, isn't it? Hey, good job this is pre-recorded and they can knock that out.
You finally did it. Okay.
Yeah, well done.
Sorry, you can edit that part.
You're talking about millennials early on. You don't know how to switch your phone off. There's a phrase I'm going to use. Okay, boomer. I'm kidding. But back to the topic. I love it when football comes together for big issues like me, for example. Yeah. What happened to you? I mean, I was watching the game.
I always said before, I was fortunate after I had the best medical staff
and a cardiologist in attendance
on a day. The cardiologist, it never really took over. It took over just when I got to the hospital. Then he took over. But everybody else, they did an amazing job just to be able to, because when it happened, they got into me within about 5 or 10 seconds.
It was amazing,
which is make a massive difference, and using the CPR and everything else, it made a huge difference in terms of my recovery as well, because you got to remember I didn't get any oxygen in my brain for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So which means it did affect my memory for the first 2 years, because you lose all your short-term memory. So I had to learn a lot of things as well.
Relearn it.
Yeah.
But did you feel like the love from the fans and all the ex-pros, or the current pros, your ex-teammates rather?
The funny thing about it, I've met more footballers when I was in hospital.
Yeah.
than when I was playing.
Really?
Yeah.
People will come and see you.
I got a message from everybody. Everybody you can think of, I've got a message from.
That's why you didn't text me back.
too many messages to get through.
I get a message from the Pope.
The Pope?
Yeah. Pope, Maradona, Messi.
Maradona.
I've never met these people, but they send you a message,
in English.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Then I remember going to Madrid to see Perez.
Yeah.
And Perez happens that his wife, his sister, passed away, similar accident as me.
Wow.
So when I met him, he was talking to me about it, but he talked in Spanish. I was like, I don't understand Spanish, but when he explained to me, it's like, oh, it makes sense, But I said it was incredible.
That's what I mean, the love that you get from everybody in the game.
But I think that's all, you only get this kind of love in football.
Yeah.
There's no other way, There's no other sport that comes together like football.
Okay, well, on the topic of Messi, this is my final question. Have you ever looked out for someone just to get their jersey at the end of a match? Have you ever played against someone? Never.
I think he doesn't collect jerseys.
You don't collect jerseys?
I have got jerseys. I'll show you the photo of me boys' room. I've got some really good jerseys. I wanted jerseys when I was playing, but I wouldn't purposely wait for them or try and go, oh yeah, I want that one. It would be if he's next to me at the end of the game, I'd go, yeah, is there any chance I can get?
Which is the prize jersey in your collection?
I've got Shearer. I've got all of them really. Shearer, Terry, Ferdinand, Gerrard, Lampard, Rooney.
Basically England's golden generation.
Yeah.
With a few extra thrown in there.
Petit,
Manu Petit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got Zola somewhere. The thing is, because I've moved a lot, I don't know where to find them, but I got me boy some wardrobes done.
Yeah.
Which I'll show you the photos, which are great. And they're in the wardrobes. So like they've got like 6 shirts and 6, and there's like 5 of them going across the whole of the wall. So it looks great for him, and then it all opens up, and then there's a telly and everything's behind it, so he's buzzing with it. But he doesn't know all the players, so when I walk past, I'm like, it's cool. I wish that was my room. So it's just my room basically, but me boy sleeps in it. But I got some real good tops, to be honest, but I weren't one for
to collect and stand by.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Messi messaging you, so you probably don't care too much about jerseys.
I have decent share.
Yeah.
I wouldn't collect one now though.
No.
Nicky Hunt was the worst I've ever seen for that.
Oh, Hunty's.
He used to run. He
will make sure
past you,
the messages get across there.
Yeah.
I want this person or that person.
He'd ask during the game and stuff.
During the game.
Yeah.
Can I have your jersey so and so?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've got.
I actually heard him, and at half time, I was going to swear then. I absolutely.
You can swear. It's a podcast. It's
yeah,
fine.
yeah. I absolutely fucking tore him a new arsehole. Yeah.
So
I was saying you taking the piss, and then I
Yeah.
said when you get that jersey, I'm going to rip it up. And what do you mean? I went, I'm telling you now. If we get beat at this game, you're in trouble. Because asking for a jersey during the game,
During
and even before half time too, I was like,
you know, now like when you look at the jersey, you collectively think, you know what?
yeah, it is. It's something. It is something you can be proud of, isn't it? Because you think like now, you know, because people forget that. Because when I've got Ferdinand's one from Leeds.
Oh, that's old.
I've got Rooney's one from Everton.
Wow.
I've got one from as 8 and it's 10 from as 8 when he first went to Man United, and it's 10.
Yeah.
Because we knew each other and because we were Scousers, every time we were chatting, I'd just go, gives you shit, what was it? You know what I mean? And it was one of them. But
they hold sentimental value.
Yeah.
They hold something thinking, you know what? I
Something
had him
special.
at his best. You know, I remember getting Scholes shirt. It was like
I've got Scholes's here as well.
that one. You look at it thinking,
Gigsy's as well.
That's
this is
special.
yeah. They got it. Scores. I've got Patrick's
Vieira.
first shirt went to Juventus.
Ooh.
So he signed it for me. I was like, that's pretty cool. I got Xavi Alonso, Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Is one.
Oh,
Bayern
one.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to see it on eBay. Let's put it that way. Making a little bit of extra money. Okay.
That'll only be his boy when he's older and he thinks, right, I don't need these no more. How much can I get for them?
Yeah. Got a kid's education to pay for. University fees are not cheap.
Yeah,
okay. Stick it on eBay. Final question. If you had to give me a nickname, what would it be? Titch or something. Like I'm a short guy. I'm 5.
Carras probably.
Carras. I've had ads.
I call you ads all the time.
Ads, yeah.
I was thinking ads. Yeah.
Ads. All right. Fab.
I think if you're gonna go nicknames, though, I'll go Carras.
Carras.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Don't confuse me with Jamie Carragher. No. Gents, thank you so much. See,
No
Squeaky
problem,
Bum Time wasn't too bad, right?
No, not too bad,
No,
mate.
at
No,
all.
we've only heard it twice, so that's all right.
Lovely. Perfect.
Thanks
Top
for the
man.
show, but
Top man, Carras.
Cheers, pal.
thank you.